Hey Brian, thanks for the question about how to find higher lows. So I'm going to make this video special just for you. Um, I really think in 3 to 5 years you're going to be trading at a level that you didn't think you were ever going to be trading at, or at least you're going to continue getting more consistent to the point where you will know what you're going to do when you retire. You decide to hang up the uniform. Just keep at it, because you're progressing at a pace that's going to get you there fairly quickly. This is what I'm about to show you here is really all I focus on when I'm trading full time. That's it. I just focus on this. This is the concept that I really refer to all the time as something I've gone to for 3 decades. I don't publish a lot of these trades that I get for this method right here, simply because while I'm working right now doing what I'm doing, I just don't have the time that I want to devote to it. There's periods during this work schedule I have now where I can do this, but it's not consistent. So I trade a little bit differently. But when I get back to full-time trading, this is it. This is all I'll go to. This is all you need. You just need one method that you can hinge everything on that works in multiple time frames, and that way you can drill down once you get these signals, and trading becomes much more cleaner, much more predictable. Your win rate goes up a lot more, and you can trade larger size. So hence, that's why I trade as small as I do right now. It's the manner in which I'm trading. So I've always tried to, the concept that you mentioned is the concept I've used, and that's why I call my website Trading Tops and Bottoms, because everything I do, that I build, that I model for the trading, is to I'm measuring moves, I'm measuring pullbacks inside of trends, and I want to know what level I can enter a trade and exploit that counter trend reaction. That's it. So what I'm going to show you here is it's free. It's inside your Thinkorswim platform. We're going to manipulate the indicator a little bit. You will see once we pull this up, you can replace it with whatever you like. I just really like this indicator for what it lets me do. I use it in multiple applications. So let's go ahead and get started. Finding higher lows and lower highs. I'm going to go ahead and remove this drawing right here. Alright, so this is a chart of Planet Fitness. We're going to pull up several, but we'll use this as a baseline. This is a daily chart, and we're going to go up to Studies, Edit Studies. When you get into the window, just type in SVE, Sierra Victor Echo, and double click on SVE Stochastic RSI. And we want to come over here and make some adjustments. We want to pull these down to 3, 3, and 3. Now leave your thresholds the same. I like to see these lines connected with squares, and I like to see a dark. It's just my preference. Now if this threshold is too quick for you, play around with the thresholds here. The settings, not the thresholds 80-20, but the settings 3, 3, and 3. If this is too quick for you, change it, but it works really good in all time frames. Alright, okay, here we go. Now you have your indicator set. Now you can go ahead and if you want to, you can save this study set if you want to. I already have it saved in several things, but give it a name that you can refer back to. Now I'm not going to put a trend indicator on this. You easily could. Something simple. I've showed you the 50 period whole moving average. I've showed you moving average crossovers. We've looked at several things. There's all kinds of things. There's no one better trend indicator than the other. I prefer that what I call the BAHA cross I had coded for me, but it's maybe 1 bar early than any other trend indicator, 1 to 3, which doesn't matter when you're trying to exploit pullbacks. All right, here's what I want to draw your eye to. This low right here, highlighted by this. That actually, let me coincide that with the actual signals. All right, so these are the signals this gets. Now I showed you guys the RSI, how to find bottoms with the RSI and the onset trend indicator. The only reason I really look for those, and in my email I told you I really only take positions on about 10% of those when they're in those bottom settings. What I'm really looking for, I want that RSI and that onset trend indicator to simply tell me which stocks are possibly at a bottom so that I can look for the first pullback to the upside out of there. That's the only reason I use those onset bottom indicator and RSI. It's to identify stocks like this are at a bottom and I'm looking for the first pullback. Now you actually get the first pullback right in here. You get a couple. This one probably wouldn't have done anything for you. This one would have. And what I'm gauging off of are these prior. I always look about 1 to 2 swing lows back, and the same for swing highs. If I get a signal, because stocks are really erratic. But here you can see this low here, higher than this one, indicates there. You might have got in on an intraday. Intraday, you would have probably gotten in on this one. Daily, you wouldn't have gotten into up here. Still would have probably done pretty good with that one. So you can just follow this along. Every time this indicator gets below the threshold, it indicates it's in a low. Now, if this low is higher than the previous, that's cause for you to take action. This one wouldn't have worked out for you. But look at this one. You're like, well, this low here is less than this one. Yes, but look at where it is relative to this low. It's like a double bottom right there. Okay, and that's really your risk right there. So this is a low risk entry, a double bottom higher than the all-time low. Well, not all-time low, but the most recent low of, say, the last 50 bars. And then you get the probe up. So you can just follow this thing on. It just continually shows you the bottoms. I'm not going to mark all these. You can clearly see them. All right. And you can see right now we're in one with Planet Fitness. So let's just take a look at that. It came back down into this cluster, which is not, doesn't surprise me that found support right there where all that trading took place and rallied smartly back up. Now we can just wait for these to get the green arrow. It's up to you on how you enter. This thing tells you when the momentum's shifting back to the upside. You can just wait for those, and you can just take action the next day. So in this one that had such a huge drop, we want to wait and let it shift up a little bit, or drill down to the 1 hour time frame and take your signals. I'll talk about that in just a minute. All right, so I think you understand the concept. It's really easy. Let's just take a look at a couple more charts, because it's really no harder than this right here. Let's look at, I like to play this one quite a bit. This one's giving you some pretty good tops and bottoms. You know, I'll talk about tops and bottoms here. So, you know, when you get these tops like back up here to the left, big down move, rallies back up, it tells you right in here, hey, good time to look for a short entry, nice move down. You get another one here, nice move down. Now what you have here is what I call the dilemma. Are you in a, you made this low, which took out this low back here, so my thoughts are it's still got more move to the downside. So I would, you know, take a position up in here betting for a down move. You get it, but now all of a sudden it stops. You get a bottom and it stops short. So your only recourse at that point in time is to either step aside or let this thing play out and see if it takes that swing high out right there. That's why I use entry technique number 2 and the VWAPs, because if and when I get into these dilemma areas right here that aren't clear to me, because it can go either way. This thing can go back up and falter again. There's a little, what I call a Z pattern in here. This thing formed nicely and just takes it back out and moves on down to the downside. Now it clears back up for you when it doesn't take this out right here, and you get this second signal right there. You have to, a lot of times you have to wait for 2 signals. So you got this entry here that says, hey, I'm at a bottom. I didn't take out this low. I'm probably going to go up. Well, it tries, but it doesn't. You get this high indication right here, which puts you in there. Now you're like, okay, let's see what it's going to do right now. If it doesn't take this swing high out and goes back down, then we take the next short. So market rallies up here, you get the indication right there, then it breaks down. So then you're pretty certain you're going to get some downward action at that point in time. That's the only interpretation. There's another signal like that here. So here you have a double bottom. These are really, really good. I like these. You see this double bottom right here? Rallies up, comes back down. You get the signal here. When you get this up bar, you have got to assume on a double bottom that the bottom is in. So you'd get in the next bar right there, without a doubt. You have to play those. Okay, that's a beautiful play right there. Now you get another trade right here that that just wouldn't have, I would not have gotten in on it. It told you it was at a bottom right there and it rallied up, but that's not what we're looking for. But here we are. We get some. You got to get some downward movement. You don't have to take every one of these, but this fits perfectly. So right in here, you get the signal, winds up nicely, it's coiling up and just takes off. So you actually get the signal right there on this bar to go long, and that would have been a perfect entry. Beautiful trade right there. You could have scooped. Those are big moves. Those are $4 moves, 12% moves. You know, that's 100 depending on which duration cycle you're trading. I mean, you're talking 100, at least 125 to 250%. Now you have another dilemma. The market doesn't take out this swing high and you get a signal here. So now you step aside. Look what it does. It takes that swing low out. So now what you're going to do is you're going to bet that you're going to get some down movement. So you get the signal here. It puts you in way early. You'd have probably gotten in on this little bar and suffered some heat. But it never ever took out that swing high right there. And then it collapsed. So then you start it over again. Bottom, swing high, take that trade. Thing might have tricked me. It didn't go down. They tried to push it down, but they didn't. You get the signal there. If you're nimble enough, you can trade it. Listen, this clears up very, very cleanly when you get these dilemmas like this and you switch down to a 1 hour or a 2 hour chart. It answers all your questions at that point. So once you get to the dilemmas, the 1 hour chart will clear it all up for you. It will resolve it for you a lot quicker than waiting for the daily solution. That's really my only secret, is when I get to a dilemma, I switch down to the 1 hour chart and just follow these high lows until I'm fairly certain that I should take a position. Okay, it clears it up. There's no questions. But let's say you waited on this one. So now it rallies up, it takes it out. So now what you're doing is you're waiting for the next buy signal, and it was a beauty. I mean, that thing literally got you in at the bottom for this huge move up right there. So hope that makes sense for this indicator. I'm not going to go over a multitude of charts. You see the concept, you see how I use it. You're just marking bottoms, and if you're just playing bottoms, that's all you're playing. And that's really until I'm trading full time again. My bias is to the upside. I'm just interested in buying bottoms right now until this market rolls over. So that's kind of the genesis of this, and you can play around with the default settings and make it as smooth or as jetty as you like. It's your preference. You can also, there's the other oscillators that will work in this. I just don't like RSI, but I'll just show you that just so you can make some comparisons. We'll do a 2-period RSI. Use the CCI. Let's do 2 on that one. Let's just take a look at these in comparison. You may want to use these instead. That's clearly up to you. You can see here, we have a 2. Let's go with a 3 on the CCI just to see what that does for us. Okay, yeah, good, okay. All right, so CCI, what I call is when it slaps the floor. That's when it's all the way on the bottom. That's the significant move down, okay? So you can see here that RSI, CCI pretty much do the same thing. It's there's not one any better than the other, I don't think. So let's just walk through here. So bottom here, CCI pegs the bottom multiple times right there, but you're waiting for the push up, slaps the top, comes back and slaps the ground again. If it slaps the ground again and it's higher and it starts to move back up, you can take your position. You might like the CCI better in that explanation. So again, it slaps the floor, it slaps the ceiling. So now you would expect it to take out this swing high. It does not. So now again, you're waiting. Slaps the top, puts you in early, hit the bottom right there. A little bit of confusion, may have caused, if I was watching this, I would probably have, if I was short here and saw this and it ratcheted back up, I would probably close the position out. But you can see in here, you can use these combination of these if you wanted to. So it's up to you. You can take like in your study set. Let's go to Edit Studies. If you like the SVE stochastic and the CCI, Let me see. I don't think the ranges work on them. Nah, let's just see what it looks like though. Yeah, it actually works. I just drug it right into there, but let's make it a little darker. Yeah, okay, that works. So now you can kind of see, when both are at extremes, it might be a time for you to, those are your bottoms. It's up to you ever how you want to use that. All right, good. So I'm going to go ahead and remove the RSI, because next thing we're going to do is we're going to scan for this, because that was really I think your question is, do I have a scan for this? The answer is yes and no. I can scan to pick up these bottoms and tops, but you still have to look at the chart to determine, make the human decision on it, so it's not fully mechanical. But let's go over to the scan tab. Alright, so I've got this penny stock scanner up right now. Let's adjust this to whatever you want. I'll just call it $10 right now. Max is, we'll just delete that, enter, okay. Alright, now the first thing we want to do is add a study filter. Alright, over here in this window, go ahead, left click, select custom. You're going to get this window up right here. Alright, now go ahead and click edit. Left click into where you see the ADX crossover and choose study. Left click in that window, SVE, and you'll come up with stochastic RSI. Let's adjust these default settings to 3, 3, and 3. And what we want to show is for bull markets, for higher lows, we want we want the stochastic RSI less than a value, and the value, it will be 21. I'll show you why in a second. Now just save it. Within 1 bar means that it's the most recent signal. All right, we'll click OK. Let's scan in. I've got the IBD 50 stocks. Let's just take a look at those. Or I tell you what, you don't have those. Let's go to weekly. The weeklies. All right. All right. So you got a plethora of stocks to choose from. All right. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to detach this window, move it to another one of my screens. Go back to the chart over here. All right, let's just pull the first one up. CTSH. Oh, that's a big one. That one disqualifies right now. Let's look at Cisco. That's next on the list. All right, so we can see here, we'll just follow Cisco up. Bottom here, you get the first signal right in there. Okay, it puts you in. You definitely would have made money there. Here's the second one. Up, up, and away. Here's the third one. A little bit of heat, and then up and away. Here's the fourth one in this area here. So you would have gotten in anywhere probably up in here, no issue. Here we have an alert that could be ready to move. So again, you can drill down to your 1 hour chart. I'm going to show you that technique in a minute, or just wait till this flips over and goes. Or you can wait till it flips above a 5-period moving average. I mean, that's another scan I have. Look at JD.com. This one's got earnings coming up, but we're just looking at charts. So we go back here, we look at this low, we see we had a signal here, would have gotten a good trade. We got a signal somewhere in this cluster here. Eventually you'd have gotten a good trade. In here, again, upward movement. Now you'll kind of get an idea of what kind of duration that you need to run. No more than 30 days on these. 20 to 30 days is what you should be looking at. So any of these little clusters and up. So it's telling you right now that it's possibly in an area where JD could be ready for another rally, but earnings is coming up. We want to bypass that. Let's just go down. Let's take a look at Disney. Why I'm kicking myself badly for missing this trade. I love Disney, and I missed this huge up move right here. So Disney had this is not uncommon. So low back here, rallied up. You get an area right in here. Hard to say. You probably would have made money if you'd have been, within 30 days. You'd have been inside that expiration cycle. Hard to say if you'd have gotten the move or not, depending on what you bought. But you definitely wouldn't have lost much money on that one. Again, here you got a signal, but Disney went nowhere. You had another one here. It took out this swing low. So you really got to watch this trade. I was bullish on Disney back through here and just never entered a position. Was waiting for a deeper retracement to get long. Never got it, and next thing I know, it's $35 higher. So Disney has earnings coming up too. You don't really want to take positions in these ahead of earnings, so those are automatic disqualifiers. Let's look at EA. Yeah, we don't like that one. Okay, this one's setting up. Nice smooth uptrend. So AIG, but it's got earnings too. Yeah, I'm really looking at a Aristonet. This one right here. I'm looking at this on the hourly time frame. So they drove it all the way down, but it held at this point right here, and ripped right back up through it again. So I'm really bullish on Aristonet, and I'll be looking at that one in an hourly time frame. So anyway, here you just have to cycle through these. Yeah, we don't want that one. That's now what I will say, this one's had earnings. So let's watch. This is one you could put on your watch list and look at an hourly time frame. See if it resolves on the hourly time frame. So what am I talking about when I'm talking about resolving on the hourly time frame? I'm looking for a push up, a move back down, a low, and then the up signal on the hourly time frame. And when I get that, I should be above the VWAPs, and that will tell me that this down move here, this signal's probably valid, and that I'm clear to go ahead and take a position. It's how I resolve these. I mean, if it's not clear on the daily, then just put it on a watch list and go down to the hourly. So it's the only secret to this right here. So let's take a look at Fox. All right, now these are interesting plays here. So this low here is very significant on Fox. I would say a push back up signal here again on the hourly time frame, and this one's. I love these islands in a bull market like we're in. I believe they'll resolve to the upside. I just have to believe that until I'm proven wrong. So again, indecision on this, but you'd have to refer to the hourly time frame. Okay, so what we've talked about, Brian, is an indicator that will help you identify bottoms. Talked about how I use it, how you can replace it with maybe some other common indicators that you might like better. They're just oscillators, that's all they're doing. I didn't show any trend indicators on here to filter the trades, but you see how I resolve them. So it's either a high or low, or it's indecision, and it resolves on the 1 hour time frame, and that's it. Doesn't happen any other way. So that's if it's not clear on the daily time frame, go down to the hourly if you're really looking to trade that. This is one concept where you can just focus on and make your own and use it for decades. So I know I have. I don't think there's anything else I need to show you with this. Hey, just put it in, check it out, keep following it. I know you keep good notes on everything. What I like to do is just to get myself in the game, stay in the game. When I run scans, and I still do it today, you know, I'll take maybe my top 3 to 5 what I think are gonna work. You know, most of the time I do it at the end of the week. I'm just like, because you only need one to 3 good trades the way we're doing now. Now, when I'm trading full time, you get 3 to 5 of these every day, just about. I'll put on a column, I'll put day 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I want to know what these things, what the probabilities of these things turning, you know, within a 5-day span. I just put a little simple up, or the categories in there for day 1. Like if I were to list Fox, and I took and Fox signaled an entry, a no kidding entry. If I didn't take it, then what I want to do is I want to know day 1 was it up, day 2 was it down. And you can qualify that. It's a lot of work, but if you do 3 to 5 of these, you'll get a really good feel for this method. And I cannot stress that enough, that even though we're using computers, you still have got to do the work. And for me, it's either handwriting or typing stuff in so that I can see it, and it's like it stamps it into your DNA after you do it so many times. The process becomes easier for you. What you're looking for becomes easier, and I know you're good at keeping data. So just use this. Tell me what you think. Make whatever modifications you need to you know, customize it for yourself. And hope this pays off for you. Hey, I'll stay in touch, Brian. Thanks. It's BA out.